Hello my little ghosts, and welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy my stories, please consider liking and subscribing, and make sure you turn on all notifications to be informed whenever I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's dive right into tonight's story. Are you bored right now in this moment? Would you like to go somewhere fancy? Have a rather pleasant time in the company of an ancient, respectable nobleman? Then say no more. I have just the right experience for you. You will need an offering to tempt your host to make an appearance. Besides, it is just basic manners for a guest to bring a gift when they come visit. The offer consists of a bottle of wine, preferably red, and as old as your wallet can afford. Make an effort with your purchase, but make sure you have enough money left to buy 12 white candles big enough to last you for at least a day of continuous burning. Invest in a little jar small enough to fit into your pocket, as well as some salt. About 2 pounds will usually do. Wait until midnight and lock yourself in a dark room with a clock. To begin the ritual and contact your host, arrange the 12 candles in a circle big enough for you to fit in it while comfortably lying down. Your head should rest at the base of the candle facing east, and your feet should opposingly be oriented west, where another candle would be placed. The candles signify hours, so the one to your head will be the 12th hour, while the one to your feet stands for the 6th hour. Once this is done, surround the candles with a thick, uninterrupted circle of salt. Light the candles in a clockwise motion, starting at 1 and ending with 12. Then take the bottle of wine and set it aside inside the circle of candles. Lie down in said circle yourself and announce to the room, "I shall visit thee in the 3rd hour." Even if you're not sleepy, you will fall asleep upon saying these words. Your rest will be without dreams, perhaps the most restful sleep you will ever get. Your body will feel invigorated and lively upon waking up, which will happen exactly at 3 a.m. No alarm or reminder is necessary. Do not force yourself. Rest and trust the process. It will all follow its course naturally. If you find you wake up any earlier or later than 3 a.m., it means that your request has been momentarily declined. But feel free to give it another try in the future. It just means the timing has been a little off. If things unfold as planned, however, stand up, grab your gift, go to the door, and knock 3 times. Remember, you left it locked. You should now politely ask, "May I come in?" To this, the reply will simply be the door unlocking and opening before you. And if that's not striking enough in itself, what's about to uncover before your very eyes is sure to mesmerize you. You will be greeted by a man in a dark red hooded cape. He will seem excited to have you there. His face is covered by the large hood, but you can still spot his eyes. They seem to shine through and they're perfectly white, no irises, just an eerie white glow. He will hold the door open for you and invite you in. You should hand them the gift as of now and thank them for the invitation. Remember to be as polite as you can for the entire duration of your stay. Do not speak unless asked. Do not interrupt them while they speak. Do not touch anything unless invited. And whatever you do not taste the wine. For around this time, your lovely companion will pour you both a glass of the wine you brought. Whatever you do not taste the wine. Your host will show you around their grandiose home, a lavish mansion of 5 stories that could easily entertain a man for a lifetime, without him ever needing to make an exit for the outside world. The first thing you'll notice are the majestic hallways and stairways, high, twisted, puzzling, and adorned with gold and what your guest describes as marble. The high-rising windows are always covered by long, lavish, ornate curtains sewn in intricate floral patterns in a dark shade of red. Your host has his entire mansion lit with candles and what looks like oil lamps. He will excuse himself in regards to the lack of sunlight in the house, blaming it on his sensitive eyes. You must present yourself unbothered by such a minuscule detail and praise him for his good taste, encouraging the continuation of the tour. He has quite a weakness for flattery, and you should make good use of this knowledge while still maintaining proper etiquette. As you descend the rather long flight of stairs, you will find yourself in a dimly lit dining room. A piano song breaks the silence, but none is to be spotted. The air is filled with all these different yet equally mouth-watering aromas. Freshly baked bread and pastry, meatloaf, steak and turkey, baked potatoes with butter and herbs, along with a selection of fine, ripe, exotic fruits, including pineapple, mangoes, grapes, and apricots. Everything awaits in silver dishes on a gigantic golden table with satin cloths. Your host will ask you if you're hungry, and by all means, if they do, feel free to admit and help yourself with just about anything your heart desires. Try the soup, the meats, the desserts, enjoy every little bite, as this is quite possibly the best meal you will ever have. In the end, your guest will ask you if you'd fancy some more wine to conclude. Whatever you do not taste the wine. Tell them you have had enough for now and that you wouldn't want to have too much, as it has after all been a gift from you to them. To this they will nod in agreement and invite you to follow them into the next room. Comply with their request, but make sure to carry your glass of wine with you still. You will follow your host down another hallway, this one lit up with huge white chandeliers. Your host will pride themselves in having the most talented craftsmen to sculpt these costly chandeliers for him from pure ivory, decorated with pearl strings of the most expensive kind. Remember to offer praise and show interest, for this is where you are being tested. A little pearl would come rolling on the floor and stop at your feet from a nearby room that's slightly open. Your host will explain that that is the workshop room. If you do pick up the little pearl, you will find, to your horror, that it much rather resembles a tooth. Do not show any emotion. Keep smiling and keep walking with him, even when you spot the blood on the workshop floor. Even when you hear the agonizing scream right before the door closes, walk with him unbothered and unaware. At the end of the hallway, there is another flight of stairs, this one going up. Keep in mind that you must try to postpone leaving the next room he will take you to for as long as possible. This is the library, and from here things will only be going downhill for you. He will invite you to have a seat with him on a leather armchair facing an ivory fireplace. Sit and praise him on how comfortable the chair is. He will fill his glass with wine once more and take a sip. You'll receive his admiration for your wine of choice, and he will ask to refill your glass as well. Hand it to him. If you refuse now, it will become a little too obvious that you know. While he's pouring, study the leather from which the chair is made. It looks familiar in terms of texture. Ask him about it. He'll be hesitant for a second, but his answer will eventually come. Pig leather. But by now you probably know better, especially when you spot that little patch with a nail on the side of the chair. Pretend like you're drinking while once again offering praise for your host's refined taste. Do not be startled upon hearing those screams over the sound of the fire crackling. The same piano song from earlier will soon cover them. An antique grandfather clock will soon distract the two of you with its song. Upon turning your head to see it, you realize it announces the 12th hour. This is when you know your time is up and you need to leave. But first, ask your host to show you to the restroom. He will point towards a white door to your left. Excuse yourself and do your best to slip the glass of wine with you unnoticed. Once you are in the restroom, pull out the little jar from your pocket and pour some of the wine in it. Good. Now you can safely leave this place. Upon exiting the restroom, thank your host for their warm and welcoming presence and announce that you have to leave. Set the glass on the table between the two armchairs and ask him to show you the exit. He will seem disappointed upon hearing your request, but rest assured he cannot harm you. I cannot say the same, however, if you choose to stay any longer. Your host will walk you to a grand door opposite from the fireplace and open it for you. He will thank you for your visit and tell you how they cannot wait to see you again. Shake their hand, smile, and wish them good night. Once you step outside and the door closes behind you, you will wake up in your own room where you started the ritual. All the candles will be completely melted on the floor, except for the 12-hour one that's still flickering. How much time you have left to safely complete the ritual depends on how much longer the candle will burn for. I suggest you hurry. What you need to do now is find someone to drink from the wine you saved in your jar. Whether you want to find a way to slip it into your enemy's drink or simply pour it into someone's drink at the local bar is completely up to you. But you need to be quick. If the candle dies and no one has tasted the wine, they will come for you. Whomever you see fit to take your place will be taken upon tasting the wine, and they will be made suitable to adorn your host's lavish mansion.